The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Makeup's done? Hair's did?
This is probably one of the most glamorous moments of my life.
Time for News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
So drones were announced by Amazon. They said, hey, we're going to put these drones in
service.
Hire them, yes, and they're going to start delivering your Amazon packages.
I always doubted that.
I did too. That was 12 years ago, which is
I still
crazy.
doubt it.
But I have seen some videos of people that have they film a video of the drone outside and it's dropping a package, but really it's not gone anywhere.
Yeah, it's so impractical, and it's like light stuff that they can send you, like your prescriptions or whatever, but it never really took.
But maybe this one will. They just announced that they will be hiring humanoid robots. They are in the middle of training them. So the idea is they will have these robots be delivered by electric vans.
Okay.
So I'm guessing no one will be
automated driving.
The van. Right. And that this robot will get out of the van and walk right up to your door and put your package right there.
I absolutely love this idea. Like, I don't mind talking to the Amazon guy when he's coming, because they're always bringing fun stuff usually, you know? So I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, like when I see him, I'm always like really kind. But then they have third-party people that help deliver for them too, that I think have less concern than the Amazon people, maybe less skin in the game, because they get near my front door, throw something as the package is in the air, making its way down to my porch. They'll take that picture, and before you know it, they are gone. And then it's always my neighbor's package. I come home to think I have so much good stuff, and I look at it, and it's my neighbor's package. They put their stuff on, and we live in a small neighborhood. There's not acres in between us.
Right, it's cul-de-sac.
There's feet in between us. And my mailbox, I even repainted it. It's brand new with big white numbers on it. Their mailbox, you can read it. It's all very clear as to this is not their house. And doesn't matter.
We'll see if the humanoid robots can get it right. I don't know.
So.
They said that it'll soon be ready, but if it's anything like the drones, I'm not sure. I found this funny that they actually created an obstacle course at their San Francisco
that's great.
place, their office, and that they're training the humanoid robots through this indoor humanoid park.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's so funny. But anyways, here's Amazon Robotics Chief Technologist Ty Brady to explain why they're doing this.
We aim to eliminate every menial, mundane, and repetitive job out there. We want to automate that, because we will never run out of things to do for our employees. We want them to focus on higher level tasks. People are amazing at using common sense and reasoning and understanding complex problems. Why would you not use that?
I don't know, man. Like, if I'm like someone that's working at Amazon, I'm like, menial, mundane tasks. Man, I'm living on that. Like, that's what I'm
sign
doing.
me up.
You're gonna eliminate that, which means you're gonna eliminate my job, and you're not gonna find another place for me. You know, if you automate everything, it's not like, you know what, Ray, we've noticed you down here packing boxes. You're pretty great at it. We're going to make you CEO now that we hired this robot to take your job, but you're going to be fine. No, that's not going to happen, man.
I know. Time will tell what will happen.
It is interesting the amount of money they put towards development. Like big companies that risk money in research and development, like money that I would never risk, like on the drone thing. And they spent tens or hundreds of millions of dollars developing that, and it's just not going to happen, you know?
Right.
And so you're like, oh, well, could you maybe not worry about the drones and make my Amazon Prime a smidge cheaper? That'd be great.
I'm just thinking.
Spitballing here.
I don't know.
You know what? Have a robot do that. I challenge you. Uplifting WayFM, this is The Wally Show. And if you ever talk about David from the Bible, one of the first things that comes to mind is what? David
beat Goliath.
Yes, exactly, Goliath. Those two names are joined in history together, and they're kind of synonymous with each other. And you know the story. David sees Goliath taunting God, making fun of his people, and David was just this young shepherd boy, couldn't believe this was happening and that people wouldn't stop him. So he picks up 5 stones, takes his slingshot, goes out and destroys Goliath in the name of Jesus. He won the battle that no one thought he could win. So why did he go on to lose personal battles later in his life. And I found this guy kind of talking about this on TikTok.
David beat Goliath but lost to Bathsheba. You see, your public victories mean nothing if you keep losing private battles. David beat Goliath because he walked with authority. He lost to Bathsheba because he forgot who he was. It's time to believe that you can take down that Goliath in your life with nothing more than a sling and a stone.
See, when he took on Goliath, he was doing it in the name of God. He's like, I believe in you. I know that you are bigger than all of this. And he didn't even hesitate, and he's walking with God. His faith empowered him to do the unimaginable. But when he lost that and he was relying on himself, he fell and he fell hard. So while we think that David versus Goliath was the biggest battle, actually David versus himself was a much bigger fight throughout, the rest of his life. David failed God, but here's the best part of this story is that he repented and God continued to use him. Because I actually had to go back and look some of this up. I'm like, in the timeline, what happened after he messed up with Bathsheba? I mean, he had an affair, so adultery, had her husband killed. This is some bad stuff.
Right.
But then God wasn't done with him yet. And he wasn't done with his lineage and his story yet.
Yeah, and doesn't he call David the man after God's own heart?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so here's what I want to talk about with you. Is there a story that's inspired you of someone who messed up big time, but God restored? Because I think the thing we need to remember is when we watch people around us fall, we could easily be them. We like to think we couldn't. I'm real careful at throwing stones at people because we're all broken in some way. We're all one bad decision from becoming David. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
And so I tend to be very careful about, like, when somebody messes up, pointing the fingers, But what I do like to hear, and what we want to focus on today, is maybe somebody that has messed up big time, but God wasn't done with them, because that should bring us all hope, because we are all going to make mistakes. We are all going to fall. And we hope then that God isn't done with us.
Right.
We pray, God, don't be done with me. Please use me.
Don't give up on me.
But when we look at other people, we're like, God, how could they do that? And so I think that this is really an important thing to discuss, the positive side after a big mistake, And so this is what we want to talk about. And maybe that's you. We're talking about this thing of, like, who's that inspiring story of God restoring somebody that fell? Maybe you're that person. And you were the one that fell, and God restored you as well. I'd love to hear your story right now. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. Is there a person that you've seen mess up big time and God restored, or was that person you?
That person was me. I married outside of God's will, and unfortunately it ended in divorce, and I really struggled with that choice, even though it was best for me and my child. And I really struggled with the choice to divorce my ex-husband. And God showed grace on me and gave me something new.
Because it's easy to think sometimes, too, that, like, when you have a divorce, like, well, I messed up, and God's done with me.
Yep.
There's nothing left for me. I'm not, Did you feel that at any point in time?
Yes. And I told him, I said, God, this is it. You hate divorce. This is not what you have created, but this is what I have to do. And if that's it for me, that's it. If there's anybody else, you're going to have to bring them to me. And he did. But
he also hates all the stuff that other people do too, that they don't want to talk about, and because we elevate sins, to make ourselves feel better. And so to me, that is a mistake and it's a problem, but God is never done with you. That's the beauty of the way that God sees us versus the way we see each other.
Christina, thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know that there are other women out there that feel the same, that because they got divorced, that maybe all hope is lost. So thank you for showing them that that's not the case.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So Craig, was that your story?
Yes, it was. I've had more than one big mistake, but this was the biggest, I believe. About 28 years ago, I felt like my family didn't need me. I didn't feel respected, didn't feel much of anything, and wound up turning around and just walking away from my wife and kids, although the kids were pretty much grown at that time. Got into the drug scene, just partied scene. I just felt like that was, it was my answer to stuff, and it really wasn't. During that entire time, I told my wife, first of all, I turned the house over to her. I said, you should just divorce me, be done with me. And she said God told her not to. She prayed and prayed and prayed. And after 3 years, he restored our marriage.
Holy
It took
cow.
a while. It took a lot of work.
What was that moment? Like, you're like, I'm done, I'm walking away, and I get that. But what was the moment that you're like, okay, now I'm going to fight for this because my wife has been consistent in wanting to save this?
I think it was when I was in jail, sitting there.
Boy, your story just has all kind of layers, doesn't it there, Craig?
The whole thing is really more a story of redemption than
Absolutely.
my fall. And God has been so good. We renewed our vows afterwards. Started attending a church. I was asked to serve as an elder there after like 4 years, which I
Nice.
did. And God just continues to bless.
Hey, Wally, do you have a minute?
Sorry, busy.
I have cake.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of even though we are busy, we make time for what's important.
Yeah, because going back to school as an adult, you're busy with work, you've got family, but if you want to make your education a priority, trust me, you can do it. Betty did.
Like when I first started, I was super intimidated because it had been a while since I've been in school. But I mean, from the very first conversation, I felt like they were setting me up for success.
Yeah, and going back to school with CCU's flexible online courses makes it so convenient.
Yeah, and what's so cool is every class has a biblical worldview perspective. And so you think, well, how can they turn math into a biblical worldview? They find a way.
Yeah, and that was one of my jobs when I was teaching at CCU, was integrating not just the facts and figures of things, but how your faith plays into what you're going to do.
CCU offers Christ-centered higher education, transforming students to impact the world with grace and truth.
Cultivate your mind without compromising your heart. Get started today at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a non-profit impact partner.
Let's not overthink this.
Don't think too hard about it.
It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
So it is that time of year where hopeful graduates are ushered out into the real world, and they are left to kind of fend for themselves.
Yeah, you're told, like, you got to make a way. You got to make your own path out in the world. And then you realize the world is not like high school.
No, not at all. And every high school or college tries their best to prepare these kids with words of wisdom as they send them off. And everyone's favorite frog, Kermit the Frog, delivered a commencement address.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you love that, at the University of Maryland.
Yes.
And I was curious why they picked Kermit the Frog, because you try to get like industry leaders or presidents or inspirational people.
He is inspirational.
To some.
Someday we'll find it.
Yeah.
The Rainbow Connection.
No, thank you. But they did have a connection because the guy who created Kermit, Jim Henson, went to that college.
Oh, cool.
And so, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So here was his advice, okay? As you prepare to take this big leap into life.
Can you say it like Kermit?
I can't. As you prepare to take this big leap into life. I wish I could do a Kermit. Here's a little advice. If you're willing to listen to a frog, he continued, rather than jumping over something,
a lily pad,
or someone to get what you want, consider reaching out your hand and taking that leap side by side.
Oh,
yeah, because it's better when we leap together.
Is it bad that I'm crying?
I know,
it's
yeah.
so beautiful.
He said, I'm honored to share some words of wisdom about the 3 things that are close to my heart: finding your people, taking the leap, and making connections.
Oh,
so, there you
Kermit.
Go. I was asked to do a commencement speech once for my high school, the King's Academy in West Palm Beach. Ironically, as I was writing my notes for these stories, I spelled commencement wrong.
That checks out.
But yeah, so they asked me to do a thing, and so I wanted to make it memorable. And so I got on stage, and I had a canvas. Because at one of my master's graduation, a guy did a painting while he talked.
Yeah.
Does this painting, and then he turns it upside down, and it's like Bono. And you're like, what? That's amazing. And he ties it all in. So I set up this whole thing about how I was in France, and I had never been really into art. And I was just inspired. And I came back, and I just started pouring myself into this. And so I'm painting with my hands and slopping paint all over this thing. Mm-hmm. And it basically, I get to the end of it, and I turn it over, and it's just a happy smiley face and nothing. It looks like a 3-year-old painted it.
That's a classic Wally move.
But my point was, while I never got good at painting, I can still appreciate art. And it's the same thing. You don't have to be the Van Gogh to work in an industry like an art industry. Just like in music, you don't have to be the lead singer of a band to have a fulfilling career. I ended up in radio, and I love what I do because I was better suited for that. And so just because you might not have the dream that works out, it actually is sometimes better suited for you to do something else, and it can be just as fulfilling and rewarding. I'm looking at my time. Okay, I have to play this. This is the best high school commencement speech of all time, though. Not mine, but this is from somebody else that is really funny.
You're not special. You're not exceptional. Contrary to what your U9 soccer trophy suggests, your glowing 7th grade report card, despite every assurance of a certain corpulent purple dinosaur, that nice Mr. Rogers and your batty Aunt Sylvia, no matter how often your paternal caped crusader has swooped in to save you, you are nothing special.
There you go.
Wow, that...
Have fun, kids.
That was not uplifting at all.
I know, but the thing about it is what makes it so great is that it's,
realistic?
It's realistic, yeah, because you get told you're the best thing in the world, but maybe there is always going to be somebody better at something that you do. And he went on to talk about that. But yeah, sometimes you get bolstered up like you're amazing, and it's like, no, you're not special, but be you. You're special you. But it's okay, that was...
Let's leave it to Kermit,
yeah,
honestly.
Kermit was better, I guess.
I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
Betty and I talk about her personal life a lot, and because I'm very involved in that.
Whether I want him to be or not.
100%, because I'm pulling for her, in the dating world and things like that. And we were kind of discussing, this is Wally Show on Way FM, by the way. We were discussing the things you look for in a person.
Right. Recently, I was having to type up something for work, and Gavin and Wally both know I am terrible when it comes to spelling.
Yeah.
I can't spell to save my life. Something that my dad handed down to me. Thank you, Dad. But recently that happened to me, and I just shouted out loud, whoever the guy is that I marry, he has to be good at spelling. Because I'm terrible at it. And I think we always look for, you're told, look for someone that's kind, caring, that, loves you. But there are also those odd traits that you need to look for personally in your own spouse. Maybe there was something as you were dating someone and you noticed they're really good at this and you're like, oh, good, because I'm really bad at this.
Yeah.
You knew that made them the right person.
You complete me.
Right.
Jerry Maguire is special.
Right.
So this is the thing. It's easy to look for tall, dark, and handsome because that's what Betty wants. But she also wants tall, dark, and handsome with a good vocabulary that can spell. And so this is what we want to discuss with you right now. 855-33-WAY-FM. Either A, what are you looking for that's that unusual trait that maybe people would not understand, or maybe you already found that and your guy is that guy that knows how to spell and you're like, that was really important to me. Or grammar. Like my wife can do grammar. I cannot do grammar. And it's very helpful. She would spell check and grammar check all my papers when I was in college because we got married my last year. Where was she my first 3 years? I don't know. I was struggling, but we'd love to get your thing, that unusual quality that you look for in a spouse. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. What is that thing there, sister, that you looked for that was unusual, but it was a criteria you wanted in your man?
To put together IKEA furniture.
Oh, yeah, because IKEA furniture is not easy to do. So you want a guy that can build stuff and figure out how to solve problems that maybe you cannot.
100%.
I've never put together IKEA furniture, but it must be terrible.
So it's awful.
All you need are the skills to know how to read, right?
You would think that's simple, but it's not.
And it's a Swedish company, and in Swedish there are more consonants than vowels. Like, it's weird. And so you have to look at these poorly drawn pictures. I ended up just winging it half the time. I'm like, I'll figure it out. My daughter said the kindest thing when she was starting to date. She was like, I really hope I find somebody that can build things like you. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the nicest thing you could say to me.
And what did she?
I don't know. I'm not sure where Spencer's at, like building stuff or not. He can do electrical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he can. There's things that I know just because I'm older that I know he doesn't know yet. But I think he's fairly handy.
I could see where that would be wanted by a girl, especially if you have a lot of projects you want to get done around the house.
Exactly. Wow, that puts it into perspective. You're just using us. Okay, I get it now. So what is it for you?
So mine was a good credit score.
You know what? That is really, really smart, honestly, because that means they've made good financial decisions and you're not going to inherit a bunch of debt.
But why did this come to top of mind for you?
So after college, I was working at a finance company. When people can't go to the bank and get a loan, they go to the high-rate places. And the credit scores I saw, the debt people had, it was shocking. And so I had decided that I needed someone who had a good credit score and could work money. I don't do numbers myself.
It's funny, and you were working in the finance department. Yeah, boy, a lot of that checks out.
I have no idea.
You're absolutely right. Like, my daughter is getting married, and neither one of them have any debt, you know, and I think that's important. It gives them a leg up on starting their lives together.
Speaking of someone who married someone with debt, Gavin, how's it going?
Yeah, it's super fun. I love her.
Yeah.
Gavin, my husband felt the same way because when he married me, I had college debt, car loan.
That's what Gavin ran into, too. And you're like, man, like, I'd have a conversation with the in-laws. You guys couldn't have paid this off before you gave her to me?
They're like, she's your problem now.
Yeah.
What is that thing that's unusual that you looked for?
I looked for someone who had a good sense of direction, and God is so good, he's got me a route man for community coffee.
A route man? Like, so he drives for a living?
Yes.
That is something I need to look for too, Kelly, because I couldn't find my way out of a paper bag.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's terrible.
Well, let me just tell you this, Rock. As a friend, if you were looking for someone to make up for all the things you don't know how to do or can't do,
watch yourself. Watch
I'm just saying,
it.
That's why you're still single. That guy does not exist.
It's News-ish with Gavin. Hooray! I think he needs a little more encouragement. Oh, that's better. Here's Gavin.
Later this summer, we are going on the biggest drive that we've ever made with our son, Bennett.
Oh.
We have maxed out at 3 hours. That is the furthest we've gone.
Is that all he can handle? Or you can handle?
That's all. That's more about us at this point. And the average parent says that 7 hours is their max for how long they want to drive with their kid. And they listed, having multiple kids as being the thing because it says you're going to go through at least 18 sibling fights, 14 mini tantrums, 22 are we there yet? Those I feel like are going to be fine to handle. But our reality for our son, who is only 10 months old, is that we will leave when he naps, and then an hour and a half in, he wakes up, starts crying.
Pretty good imitation.
Thank you. And then you give him some snacks. You try to read a book to him, and it just divulges into, why am I in this seat?
Right.
So I can understand a lot of parents, because we've already made the decision. We're going on this big trip. We're going to break it in half.
Are you?
Because I'm just not I don't know if we can handle 8 hours of
Well, you said
struggle.
that Bennett is like, normally kids get in a car seat and they fall asleep and they kind of like it. You say he goes nuts.
He gets in the car seat, and we always schedule it super around his nap time. And so when you get him in the car, he falls asleep for that first half, and then it turns into chaos because he just does not want to be still right now, which I have a feeling is more of a boy thing.
Sure.
But I can understand parents going on their long summer road trips. I'm now entering into that pool of not necessarily looking forward. I don't already look forward to a drive, but this adds a whole nother measure of difficulty to it.
Just imagine when he starts potty training and you're going to have to try and start doing that.
Yeah,
well,
he's fine.
wait, that's true.
Yeah.
When he's got a dad like Gavin,
we're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. He's going to stop all the time.
The amount of times if he's, hey, can we pull over? I have to go to the bathroom. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Me too.
son. I'm doing this for you. Doing this 100% for you, not for me. It's all for you.
For one with a tiny, tiny bladder.
Yeah. Well, road trips in this, like summer road trips with your kids are difficult. Like they're challenging, but they are part of the challenges are what make life ultimately the memories that you look back on.
Aww.
And some of them are crazy, and your kids fighting in the back seat and stuff like that. It's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes to the overall experience where, in the moment it's pretty bad, but when you look back on it, it's kind of worth it.
They're not going to learn how to better handle themselves until they get to that point. Like, I understand that there will be an era of time when I cannot communicate and help him understand, but it's up to me to, over time, help him understand that it's okay that you sit in this seat for a long time. Eventually, I'll give you an iPad for the drive.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we'll be okay.
Yeah, that's where like parents that are like, I don't want my kids to have too much screen time. You get on a long road trip. I drove across the country from California to Florida with a 3-year-old.
Oh.
That kid, I put 4 screens in front of her. Like she had so much screen. She maxed out on her lifetime of screen time on that trip just to keep me sane.
Great Googly Moogly. Googly Moogly.
Great Googly Moogly.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. We're gonna play a little game. You can win a prize here. It's called Great Googly Moogly. Okay. And Gavin's going to ask Google some open-ended questions. Betty and I will try to get an answer on the top 5 things that Google comes back with. And if we get the number 1 answer, we get 2 points. And why this helps you out is listen to our round, because you might get to pick one of us to help you in your round and maybe win the game here. So with that said, Gavin, what is the first Great Googly Moogly question?
It is, how do I get my kid to stop blank? Something I personally have Googled plenty of so far.
Okay, how do I get my kid to stop? And if Betty Rock and I say the same thing, our answers are invalid.
I'm just going with the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay, and
I love a confident
How do I
answer.
get my kid to stop, or do I get my kid to stop?
Yes, fill in the blank after stop.
Okay. And you said this was something that you experienced?
I have been Googling this. It is a little bit skewed towards me.
Okay, I've got my answer. Betty Rock, go ahead.
All right, I said, how do I get my child to stop crying?
That is a good one. Did she make the list?
She did. It was number 2.
Hey!
Okay. Oh, number 2. So number 1 is still open.
It is still open.
All right.
And this is, you think about Google asking, well, you've already got your answer. I don't know.
I do, yeah. And I'll tell you, full disclosure on this one, I think I know it, but if I don't, I am throwing this point away. Congratulations, you're getting this point because I went for the joke. Oh. How do I get my kid to stop being disappointed in me? Did I make the list?
No.
You said it was your search.
No, go away.
Oh,
Come on
Wally.
now. Okay, other things on this list.
So I didn't get a point, but that's okay.
No,
I won in my heart.
I'm so happy for you.
I won in heaven.
The list included wetting the bed, hitting me, lying was the number 1. So that would be older kids.
Okay.
That's a good one. Yeah, kids, they hit you when they're little and they think it's funny. They pop you right in the eye and their little hand is just the same size as your eye socket. And you hear like, go, and you're like, is my eye still in there? It's the weirdest thing, man. Okay, I get that one. Next question.
Why does my coworker always blank?
Oh.
Is this about you again?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a point.
Actually,
I'm gonna go for a point on this one, and not just a shot at Gavin. Okay, I have my answer down. Betty Rock, what's yours?
Why does my coworker always annoy me?
Oh, that's good. For Gavin?
I'm not looking at Gavin.
I see you looking at me, but I'm like, are you looking past me? Is there someone behind me? I don't know. Okay, did annoy me make the list?
It's number 3.
Yeah!
Betty's on fire
She's good
today. All right, now this one is kind of about Gavin, but not, because it could be open-ended. Why does my coworker always disappear? Because there are people that, like, you got a job to do, and they just vacate.
They're not at their desk.
Yeah.
They're either taking a nap in the car, at the water filter.
Taking a mental wellness walk at the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. So it is about me.
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah. Well, leave early was on the list.
Oh, okay. No,
which has an element of, but that is.
But that was not what I
building.
wanted. Yeah, mine was just avoiding work.
In
so
other words,
I'm
you're
not
a
gonna,
loser.
Yeah, I'm gonna give up that point. So Betty Rock, you did really well today. So we're gonna play around with you now. 855-33-WAY-FM. Again, you have a chance to win a prize, and maybe you'll want to go with Betty Rock's answer or your own, and maybe avoid mine because I am not doing well today. But I'm gonna give it my best shot. So let's play 855-33-WAY-FM. If you want to be on the show, play Great Googly Moogly and possibly win a prize right now.
Great Googly Moogly. Googly Moogly.
Great Googly Moogly.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. Tammy, welcome to Great Googly Moogly, where Gavin is going to ask an open-ended question of Google, and it autofills 5 responses. Your job is to get an answer right in these 5 responses. If you get one right in the top 5, you get a prize. If you get the number 1 answer, you get 2 prizes, and you can stick with your answer or go with Betty's or mine. Now, I did not do well in the first round. Betty Rock did, so you might want to pay more attention to her. So with that said, Gavin, what is the question for Tammy?
It is, how do I get away from blank?
How do I get away from blank? Okay, we're going to fill in this blank here. Hold your answer for just 1 second, but be thinking of one, Tammy, till Betty Rock and I can get one. How do I get away from... Oh, my goodness. Oh, this is hard. Honestly.
This is a hard one.
Betty, do you have your answer down? You wrote it really fast. All right, I'm writing my answer down. Okay, go ahead, Tammy. What are you saying?
How about my gossiping friend?
Ooh, okay.
So gossip. Okay.
Okay. Betty Rock, what did you say?
I put, how can I get away from negativity?
Ooh, that's good too.
That is real good.
How do I get away from my boss? Like a boss that doesn't have boundaries and like wants to email you over the weekend.
I should search that.
You should search that, yeah. But you always say I'm not your boss, so I have no idea who you're talking about.
You're right. You're
not the boss of me.
Yeah.
So I've heard that before. Tammy, do you want to go with yours, Betty Rock's, or mine?
I guess I'll still stick with mine because gossip is something that is everywhere.
Okay, I like that. So let's see how Tammy did here. Let's start with mine, Gavin. How do you get away from your boss?
That did not make this list.
Okay, you made a great decision to not go with me. I am the worst. Okay. What about Betty Rock's?
Negativity.
It did not make the list either.
What?
Okay, so Tammy, right now, you have done a good job of avoiding two whammies, and you went with your gut and with you. So, here's hoping that you got this right. Did Tammy make the list, Gavin?
Okay, I need maybe everyone's opinion on this.
Okay.
The number 4 answer on this was a toxic relationship.
Okay.
Now, she mentioned getting away from gossipers, which can be
I would
toxic.
consider that toxic, yes.
I think it's a little vague, but I'm feeling super kind today and generous. So, yes, I would actually concur. So, Tammy, you got one right. You're winning a prize.
Awesome.
Nicely done. We hope we're not your toxic friend. What else made this list, Gavin?
It said my parents. Google was on this list.
That's weird.
I don't get that one. My family. And then this is it. The number 1 answer was how do I get away from a narcissist?
Oh, so it was kind of like Betty's boss.
That
Okay.
is a hard one.
Good point.
So wait, I was kind of right.
Kind of.
All right. Well, congratulations, Tammy. You are a winner today on Great Googly Moogly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Random acts of audio.
Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show, and today's random act of audio comes to us from a Christian artist, Martin Smith. He's in the band Delirious, and this is an older clip, and I know that Martin is like somewhat of a controversial character inside of Christian music, and I don't know all the ins and outs of him, but I thought that this point that he made about going to Christian shows was pretty good.
It's so funny being a Christian musician because it always scares me when I talk to you guys and you guys think so highly of Christian music, because I kind of go, man, I know a lot of us and we don't know jack about anything. Not that I don't want you to buy our records. You come to our concerts, I sure do. But you should come for entertainment. If you really want spiritual nourishment, you should go to church.
Yeah.
Those people care about you.
I think he's...
You don't have to buy a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to buy a ticket to go to church. Like, I think he's on point with that, because I think we elevate our Christian artists in that industry to a certain level that we're like, okay, you have to, I'm hanging all my hope, my faith, everything on you and your words. And the reality is, like, Christian artists are flawed people. Christian radio hosts are flawed people. None of us should really have a platform, if you're going to hold us to a standard, to actually say anything of any merit, you know?
Right. I agree with that. I think we get disappointed or we get church hurt when we put people of leadership into where God should be.
Absolutely.
There's no one who is perfect except God. And I love Christian shows, like where they put on a good show. Like if you go see Skillet or Toby Mac, it's a great show. Yeah.
It's a fun, entertaining hour, and it's entertaining, and that's good. It should be. It shouldn't be just worship. Now, they have their moments where they speak to your heart as well, and there's good content inside of that, but it also should be entertaining. We should be the best at entertaining. You know, the Bible talks about whatever we do, do it as unto the Lord, and do your best, you know? And so I don't get bent out of it being, oh, that was a show. It was all for show. It's okay. Like doing this radio show every day, I want it to be entertaining for people. I want it to be funny for people, and we don't always have to talk about God. Well, now we have the moments where we are right now, but then we'll do something dumb, next hour that doesn't really talk about God. But it still serves that purpose of clean entertainment that isn't tearing you apart from your faith, And I think that that's a really good thing. But his point at the end, about basically, like, concerts are great. But really, if you want to worship God and you want to grow in your faith, you should be plugged into a church. And I know, like Betty said, there's church hurt sometimes, and we use that as an excuse to not go because of one bad experience with someone or something, and we write it all off. And that's the danger when you elevate one person to a place that then your faith and the construct of your faith can crumble because of that person. You had your faith in the wrong thing.
Right.
Because ultimately when you put your faith in Jesus, that's the thing that's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And the thing that you can count on, because people are going to let us down every time.
I came here in a time machine that you invented. Great Scott. Now I need your help to get back in time.
Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. I always look forward to Friday, not just because it's Friday, but it's because we get to go back in time, maybe right some wrongs on the way. And it's called Flashback Friday, and we have somebody that's telling us what to do. And today that is Taylor. Taylor is going to take us back in time. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, very, very good. If you could go back in time and change something from your life, what would you like to go back and fix?
I would like to know earlier on that we are forgiven, and that means forgiven for everything, not just forgiven once and we mess up again and we're not forgiven.
Okay, well, we're going to get into your sin in just a minute here.
Yeah, Wally was like, I thought you would say you regretted that gas station taco from last night.
Exactly. We'll change that up. We'll swing back by on the way. So, okay, what song would you like to go back in time to musically?
I would like to do the song by Mercy Me, the You're Still Forgivable.
Oh, I like this. Okay, Betty Rock, what is the year?
That was released in 2022.
I don't remember this song.
2022 was the year that the U.S. FDA finally decided, you know what? Yeah, let's approve that lab-grown meat.
Oh, good.
I think it's safe for the general public.
Maybe we should go back in time to 2021 and help alter that decision, because that's kind of gross. Well, Taylor, why do you want to hear Forgivable?
Well, my husband and me went to the last concert in the Mercy Me tour, and they played it as part of their new track that was coming out, and I just loved it. It was just such a good song, and it resonated so much with me.
Why did it resonate with you? Is it that you need to be reminded that you're forgivable, or you have someone in your life that you're like, okay, Lord, they're forgivable?
I just think a lot of times we're told, we're forgiven, and I think sometimes we don't understand how great that really is, and that we can mess up, and it's okay because He's still got us.
Well, I got to tell you this. You just sound like a delight. I can't imagine you ever having to be forgiven for anything. And so we'll play this song for other people. It is Mercy Me, Forgivable from 2022 for Taylor on Flashback Friday.
Thanks.
To the guilty and reckless, to the too far gone. You think you don't deserve to ever hear the words, child, welcome back home. All the pain that you're holding, all the shame that you hide.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they're buddies. They're big, bestest buddies. And they just recently bought a competitive sailing team.
What in the world?
This is when you have
team?
so much money that you don't know what to do with
Yeah,
it.
but this isn't new for him because he bought Wrexham. Remember, he bought the soccer club. It was like a low-level soccer club.
It was a Welsh soccer team. Yep.
And they've turned it around. They've actually gone up because in the soccer world, you have to win and get out of your category to move up to the Premier League. And they've actually done that, and he did it with a friend of his that he partnered with. So this is not new territory for him.
Yeah, it's just one of many. So like you said, he bought that Welsh soccer team, which they've turned into a TV series, Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Then he also bought the Alpine Formula One team.
No, he did not.
As well as the Mexican soccer team Club Necaxa.
Okay, I don't know anything
how to say
about that. Gavin and I watch F1, and he bought out Alpine. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot. The F1 racing is so expensive to be, but I guess
it's
the guys.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's true. I would love to race for Ryan Reynolds.
Anyway, Ryan and Hugh are coming together and buying the sailing team. It's called the Bonds Flying Ruse. They're an Australian team,
Checks
and
out.
Hugh Jackman is Australian, and he's also a big fan of sailing. So it makes sense why they would do this together.
This is the progression of wealth. This is how you know you are beyond wealthy and out of touch with everyone else. You start off buying a soccer club that's a no-name, nothing soccer club. Okay, fine. Football, whatever. So you do that. Then you move to F1 racing, which is premier. Like, that is, like, unbelievable. Then you buy a sailing team. There's nothing more hoity-toity and upper crust than owning a sailing team with my friend Buffy and Miffy. You know, like, yeah, like you are so out of touch with the rest of the world. Like, if you own a sailing team. Although I will say, I do watch the America's Cup stuff because I find it fascinating.
About?
I don't own one. That's the difference. I can enjoy it, but I'm not going to own one.
Well, I won't be surprised if they turn this into a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're both very charming men, and they can do
and
whatever
he
they
bought a
want.
cellular company. He owns Mint Mobile.
Yeah, and I'm a customer.
I know. See, that guy's smart, man. Like, he's got to.
He's investing.
He needs to get his Blake Lively stuff under control because that's a mess. But at least
at
least he's got some other jobs that he's doing. He's going to be fine. If you're worried about Ryan, he'll be fine. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and this is that time of year where we start traveling a little bit, formulating that summer vacation and flying, which can be somewhat of an ordeal, and not just for people like you and me, us ham and eggers. Sometimes even a celebrity finds themselves caught up in it.
That's right, like actress Ellen Pompeo. She's better known for Grey's Anatomy, but recently she was going through TSA to get on a flight, and she had with her a bag of sunflower seeds. They're organic. Well, anyways, TSA were like, hold up. You're not going to your flight. Because I guess there was a chemical on the packaging that came across as like it could be an explosive.
Oh, so it alerted? Oh.
Right. And so they had to pull her to the side. She almost didn't make her flight. It took way too long, but they had to call in the bomb squad
Oh my gosh.
to assess the unopened bag. She hadn't even opened the sunflower seeds yet, and she even said, I'll throw them away.
No, not at that point. You can't.
But they say, no, can't do it. We've still got to assess the unopened bag. She said it took about an hour and a half, and she barely made it to her flight.
That is crazy.
All because of organic sunflower seeds.
This is why if you're wealthy, fly private. Be part of a jet club, like, because of these kind of things. If I was wealthy, I 100% would fly private.
Yeah, because didn't TSA pull you to the side for your gummy bears?
Yes, it turns out, here's a little tip for you. Gummy bears, especially if you have a large quantity of them, like I usually travel with, will read as a plastic explosive, like C4 and the scanners, and they will pull you aside. I got pulled aside. A lady was like, I'm like, why? What would it? I pulled out my liquids. You know, I've given you everything, my medical history.
Right. What more do you need?
You know, and she's like, it's your gummy bears. They look like plastic explosives, and you have enough here to take down 2 planes. I'm like, wow. And but they'll give them back to you, but you just have that extra step that's a hassle.
Yeah. But did you say that you would have thrown them away?
Oh, yeah, but they're still going to check you at that point. Once you're flagged, there's no going back, you know? I think I was put on a do not fly list because of my gummy bears. So have you ever had a, like, difficult time in the TSA line? I'm just curious, like, what your story was.
I want to hear the horror stories, but I also want to learn from them because we just learned don't bring organic sunflower seeds as well as gummy bears. Yeah, we can all learn from this.
Yeah, I'll hold on to this one, but I might share it later about the body search that I got in Japan.
No.
Let me just say that these are some very thorough people. Okay? Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience. So we'll talk with you about your TSA experience now. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. So what was your TSA trouble?
Well, mine's a little different. My husband was a TSA agent for years, and so he had to do pat downs. So when he was patting down a guy, he was really ticklish. So he kept laughing every time my husband would touch him. And so finally the guy was like, just do it, just don't stop it. It makes it worse.
So your husband's over there patting this guy down and he's just having the time of his life. It's like patting down the Pillsbury Doughboy. All right, Angela, what is your TSA trouble?
Hey there, I had sprayed some little shoe spray in my sandals before a trip. You know, didn't want them to smell in my suitcase and all that fun stuff. And it set off the bomb alarm because of the propellant in the spray.
Is that what you're telling everyone, or was it just how bad your feet stunk? Larry, have you ever had some TSA troubles?
Oh, I certainly have. The biggest one I had happen was they stopped me and said, okay, whose bag is this? I said, okay, it's mine. They said, what do you got in here? I said, I don't know. You tell me. So,
for the record, that makes you sound super guilty.
I know. So it was a bag of microwave popcorn.
Set off the alarms? Why?
I said, well, what causes that? They said, well, we can't tell you. That's secret squirrel stuff.
Oh, okay. That's those things you don't think about, like my gummy bears setting it off. I would have never thought of that either. Like, I was going to try to fly with SpaghettiOs. I thought I had cracked the code of, like, getting better food on a flight. I'm like, I'm going to take a can of SpaghettiOs. It's got a pop top. And a flight attendant friend of mine said, nope, that's going to flag as liquid. You can't bring it. I was so bummed. I thought I had really beat the system.
Wait, Wally, you said better food. SpaghettiOs is not better food.
Oh, no, SpaghettiOs is way better than airplane food. TSA agents have a difficult job because they're kind of like the bearers of bad news, and people are cranky when they're flying. Hey, it's the Wally Show on Uplifting Way FM. And so I always try to pack a little extra patience for them in situations. But I had something really weird happen to me internationally one time. And we've been talking about TSA trouble. So it's in London, and it's with, you know, people that have accents. But we speak the same language. But man, it got really weird really fast. So we're at Windsor Castle on vacation, and the Queen was in residence there, which means like the flag was up, she's there. Wow. And so a big deal. So the place is packed, a lot of people there. So I'm in line with about 8 family members. They all go through first, I go through last. We go through, I get flagged by their version of TSA. I get pulled out of line. My family doesn't wait for me. They're like so excited to see these guards walking.
You're on your own.
I am not lying to you. Legit, they all left me. And so I'm there, and like they're pulling me aside, and not just for a minute. They're going through my bag. Then the person going through the screen on my bag calls somebody else over. Oh. And so now there's 3 people huddled around this screen, mumbling in proper English. And I'm like, what is going on? What could I possibly have had in my bag that was, and it's taking all this time. Again, my family's gone. And I'm like, can you just answer for me, what is the problem? What is the problem in my bag? Because I can't think of anything in there. And they're like, there's a 13-inch knife in here. And I'm like, wait a minute.
What?
I would know if I had a 13-inch knife and just forgot it. You know, I wouldn't have gotten through TSA on the American side, you know? And so I'm like, that's impossible. I don't have a 13-inch knife in my bag. And so they still are going on, and there are more people around the screen. And then they're like, okay, you're free to go. I'm like, wait, why am I suddenly free to go?
Yeah.
They're like, you don't have a 13-inch knife in your bag. I said, I know that. I was trying to tell you that. And they go, oh, we're sorry. So, pip, pip, cheerio. We're sorry, governor. But this was just a test for our people. We digitally put a knife in your bag. So they literally picked me out at random because I guess I look like a crazy American.
You do.
And they were testing their screener to see if they would alert and catch it and what their process was.
Wow.
But once again, while I'm being detained and I could be in jail for years, I'd like to point out that no one in my family stopped so that they could go get, hopefully, a glimpse of the Queen.
Yeah, they were like, we feel like someone's missing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
They got an earful when I'm like, hey, you guys having fun? And they're like, where have you been? Funny story.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.